Gang, hello. Let's get connected to NASA. Hope everyone had a great weekend. July officially in the books, folks. We're starting off a whole new week. We're starting off a whole new month. Exciting times. An exciting time to be a member of Ape Nation. Let me just make sure I'm properly connected to the NASA mainframe here, folks. Hello. Whoa, we are very close to my face today. No way, Jose. We don't want to do that. How's everyone doing this morning? Ready for another fun-filled week? Fun-fueled week? Mike sounds far away. It should sound better now. There we go. AMC trading at 37.70, GME trading at 162.50. Just another day in the life of an ape trader, I suppose. An ape trader. I started off my week by already arguing with YouTube support, and I just don't know where they're getting any of their information. But hey, that's just a YouTube thing. Let's go over all the interesting information we already have for the day. Let's get ready. Let's set things up. The day, the week, the month. It's a new one. Whatever happened last week, on Friday, last week, last month, it's already in the books. All we can do is take care of what's happening as we move forward. So we have about 28 minutes to go. AMC is trading at 37.75. GME is at 163. Let's quickly go over these Ortex numbers. So to start today off, the short interest still above 15% on AMC, 15.09. Shares on loan, 98.45 million. Utilization, 91.17%. In terms of GME, we are seeing spikes. What is going on? Very weird action in GME, but the short interest is all over the place. Right now it's 14.73%. The shares on loan around 8.91 million. This is estimated, and the utilization is now the fact that they've borrowed already almost 500,000 shares against it. The utilization is definitely going to be higher. Very quickly, I just want to point out that borrowing 400,000 against GME is very, very different than borrowing 400,000 against AMC, and that's just because the companies have completely different floats. GME is around 75 million shares, and then AMC is around 513 million. So just two completely different floats. So when you see 500,000 being borrowed, it's good to know that number, but then you want to know the relative impact on the stock at large. So I just want to get that out there. I think it's good because this 400,000 is very, very different than if we were to see 400,000 with AMC. It would be on a relative basis, much less of an impact on AMC than it would be on GME. In terms of the overall market, on Thursday, July 29th, we did hit a new all-time high just below 442. On Friday, it came back down and we found a base off of the previous resistance. Look at that. Resistance now acting as support, and we are bouncing up right now for 440. I want to see this continuation and see how it reacts to 441.80. So about $1.40 to go till we're testing a new all-time high in the stock market at large. In terms of AMC, ever since July 22nd, not really doing much. We have a bit of sideways trading. We're looking for the breakout between, at this point, we could just call it 40 flat. 40 to 42, we're looking for that breakout. We are gapping up this morning, which is awesome. And if you've been paying attention to any of these live streams or my videos ever since late July, it's the same thing. If you need that breakout at 40 to 42, and then we're looking for that test of 46. In terms of GME, a little bit different, showing a little bit more weakness just ever since that same time period of July 22nd. Instead of going sideways, the last 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to close out July, a little bit of weakness, but it is currently at support. We have support between 158 and 164, and that's where we're hanging out now. Below that, there is a key psychological level at 150, and then we have 145. So we're looking for a bounce pretty immediately and hopefully a fall through on kind of the George W setup. We just need the final part of the W. We want kind of this perfect double bottom scenario, especially watching the low on July 25th, which was 158.01. So those are definitely the numbers I'll be paying attention to. In terms of crypto, Bitcoin's been kind of interesting lately. It's run from 38,000 up to 42,000, and now it's down at 39. We might get another double bottom there. This is the 2-hour chart. Ethereum just kind of ripping upward, 2,250 up to around 2,600. It did hit 2,700. In the bottom right here, we have Cardano. It's running from $1.20, $1.25. It did hit almost 140, and now we're at 132. So kind of taking a breather off of that. And then Doge has been a bit more volatile, and it's still hanging out around that 20-cent level. So that's just your quick update of what's been going on with crypto at large, the market at large. But obviously at open, we're interested to see what's going on with the gap ups in both AMC and GME to see how this all really plays out. Very, very quick side note before I get all to your, all the questions that are coming in of what's happening. This one, you guys know me. I'm not much of a Redditor or anything, but I want you to know that this Citadel Connect one was probably one of the best written Reddit posts I've seen in a while. So shout out to PB Jelly Games. If you want to know about Citadel Connect, this is a very, very well written, well explained, all the sources. That's what I liked about it. Not only was there diagrams for the visual, great explanations, but also all of the sources are here, which is exactly how due diligence should be done. You should be citing all the sources instead of just stating stuff. The only thing I saw about this that I would correct is instead of ATS, alternative trading system, they accidentally had typos and used ATF, which I believe is a branch of our policing, the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. That's the only correction. So if you see ATF, just understand it's meant to be ATS, alternative trading system. But if you want to know more about Citadel Connect and even really the flow of how Citadel is working, just in general of how it's connected with a broker, good stuff in here. It's things like this that deserve way, way more upvotes. And coming from me, a person who really goes out of his way to not consume Reddit, I found this one to be exceptionally good. So check that out if you want to know more about Citadel Connect. This is on the AMC stock subreddit, and it's just called We've Been Misled. So that's a awesome one to check out if you want to know more about it. Benzinga, obviously no crazy options yet because the options market has not opened up. But I did want to read, where was it? Pension fund right here. New Jersey's pension fund acquired a stake in AMC Entertainment. They also bought Tilray. They also bought CCL, Alibaba, and Apple. I just want to see, did they have the number? Right here. State of New Jersey Common Pension Fund D initiated a position in the movie theater chain AMC Entertainment in the second quarter by acquiring 230,000 shares, the pension fund revealed in a regulatory filing. So right there, I know people have been talking about it. This is not breaking news. It's just this is actually a couple days old. I just wanted to let you know that this is not exclusively a retail-driven phenomena. There are big players, big funds, big ETFs, big institutions that are getting behind AMC right now, and this is just proof of that. State of New Jersey Common Pension Fund D bought 230,000 shares of AMC. This happened in the second quarter, and it's just getting reported now because remember, 13Fs, essentially are a quarter behind. Actually, that brings me to another point, GovCheck. So GovCheck, we have this one for 4619. This relates to market makers. We also have 4618. That one actually does relate to Right here, Short Sale Transparency and Market Fairness Act. This did pass committee, which means it's now going on to the House. So what this is, and this why this is related to 13Fs, is the fact that right now 13Fs are filed every quarter. This particular bill, which is not a law, still a bill being voted on, being discussed, being debated, would increase the cadence at which 13Fs are filed. Instead of quarterly, this would now push it monthly. And on top of it, right now, whenever you look up a 13F, let me show you one. All right, so from these 13F filings, we can go to owners, institutional owners. Basically, if you have assets under management over $100 million, you have to file a 13F, which basically is just what are your positions. And that's why right here you can see a source of a 13F. In a 13F, you're going to report your calls, your puts, and your long positions, but not your short positions. So that's one of the things this particular bill is talking about. Not also just increasing the cadence at which 13Fs are filed from quarterly to monthly, but on top of that, it's discussing the possibility of them also reporting their short positions. As you can see here, they're like in all these 13Fs, they're not reporting their short positions for whatever reason. No one ever thought that maybe that should be sent or reported to any regulatory body, which blows my mind. But this is one particular bill, the HR 4618. It just passed the House's Financial Services Committee. So now it's going on to the House at large, and then from there it goes to the Senate, and then from there it would go to the president. So I'm not saying we're not really that close, but we're at least closer than we were. It passed the committee, which means it goes on to the House, then the Senate, and then the president. So it still has a long journey, but it's better than nothing. This all happened on Friday, July 30th. So it did pass by, I think, a vote of 27 to 22. So it wasn't even necessarily that close, but you can check it out. I did make a quick update video on it yesterday if you're looking for more information, but hey, we're making progress. I know it's moving slower than we all want, obviously, but it's better than nothing. I feel like that's a key takeaway here of at least we're seeing some sort of progress, because to me, any form of progress is a win. Obviously, we want change to be made overnight, but that's just not how our systems really necessarily work. So overall, that's your quick setup. Technicals, short interest, what's going on. Oh, the other thing I did forget. Hang on. I do want to show you this. Adam Aaron. Nope. I should probably spell his name right. Just so everyone knows, August 9th is our next quarterly earnings call. We will do a webcast so you can listen for the first time ever. We will take questions from individual investors on the call. And then here's the link. Really smart questions insofar and fascinating suggestions as well. So August 9th is the earnings call. I will be live streaming that. We could all listen to it together. I'll make sure to get a webcast sign up just so that's all ready to go. But I will live stream the earnings call, and I'm excited myself to see the questions that get submitted. What is this new one? I get tons of inbound messages each day on Twitter trying to be respectful. Some of you refer to me as Mr. Aaron, but lovers of AMC are getting to be like family. So if you're an ape, feel free to call me Adam. Oh, and go see a movie at your favorite AMC theater too. That is hilarious. So we're allowed to call him Adam. That's awesome. What a guy. What a guy. But overall, that's your setup today. What day is August 9th? That is next, right here, August 9th, Monday. So next Monday, a week from today, is AMC's earnings call, just so everyone knows. All right, we are ready to rock, folks. All right, let me just get set up, and I could answer any of your questions before the market gets going. Matt was down in Orlando last week at the theme parks and saw several To the Moon shirts. Instant bonding with strangers. Your name came up a lot. That is awesome. That is so cool. I hope you had a great weekend in Orlando. That sounds awesome. Morning Mario, morning Grapes. Have the best week. Shout out Kinky Kong. Always dropping in to make our day. How much Ethereum do I own? I think around 5, maybe around 5. Oh, some people are asking about the FTDs. Let me just see if those actually loaded up. All right, so we do not have the information for the first half of July yet. This should be coming out very, very shortly, though. Maybe even potentially today. But we will get the first half of July, basically up till July 15th. I'm surprised they're not in. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Kelly Ripa would never do that. Yeah, I thought these would be in. Maybe they're waiting for market open or some portion of the market day to conclude. Very interesting though. Yeah, the FTD should be coming out soon, and we'll be able to check those out for AMC and GME. If during this morning session, any of you see that they're loaded in, like if Ortex tweets about it or something, let me know and we could check it in real time. But they should be coming in very, very shortly. I was wondering what the heck happened to GE. GE, didn't it go through a split, I believe? Yeah, it went through I'm pretty sure it went through a reverse split. Yeah, it went through a reverse split, a 1-for-8 reverse split. So basically, it's equivalent to having and so say you have 8 $1 bills, they now push it into 1 $8 bill. So it's not like the market cap of the company changed. They just made it so there's a lot less shares. So a lot less bills, but same overall value. Matt, you're the man. Ooh, thank you. Selling calls is better to buy when the stock when they are up and sell them again when they run happens. Thanks for everything. Uh, when selling calls, is it better to buy them back when they are up and then sell them again when they are running? Wait, when you're selling calls, you're just looking to get to the expiration date below the strike price. That's how you would keep your maximum amount of premium. $8 bills don't exist. Well, yeah, of course they don't, but I think it's easier when they do a 5-to-1 split or reverse split because that connects, but you guys get the Dave Lauer. Yeah. So I will be interviewing Dave Lauer during the break today, and then I'll be posting the video later this evening. So I will be doing a long form interview with Dave Lauer today to talk about dark pools, to talk about payment for order flow. There seems to be a lot of questions and a lot of confusion about what these are and aren't. I mean, if you've been hanging out here, I mean, day over day, we're still getting this question of, or I guess this misinterpretation of buying and selling on a dark pool to not impact the price. And I'm very confident in the fact that it does impact the price, but you'll at least be able to hear the reasoning from an expert. Dave Lauer is an expert. He used to work at Citadel Securities, and since then he has quit that job, and now he's kind of been outspoken against them and in front of the Senate, various committees with the government, arguing and educating about why payment for order flow is bad, explaining what dark pools are. The guy is a legitimate expert who is now outspoken about some of these things that these market makers are doing. So for us, the fact that he's able to give us any of his time and explain to the Ape Nation what a dark pool is and isn't, what payment for order flow is and isn't, it's definitely a treat for us. So I'll be doing that interview today. I just got a confirmation text from him, so that will be happening today, and then I'll post it this evening. And then on the backup channel, the Matt Kohrs clips, we'll clip the individual questions, just so if you only want to know one specific thing, or if you want to come back and reference it in the future, you'll be able just to go to that channel and get your specific question answered. Please talk to him about synthetic shorts by use of options that FINRA is requesting comment on. Also, definitely ask him about HFT. I will, but just with this, remember it is there's only so much time. Obviously, we could sit there and just ask him questions for days and days and days. So I'll talk to him a little bit synthetic by using options, synthetic shorts. Stonks Batman, that might have to be a follow-up thing. So his background is particularly in high frequency trading, but the framework of this particular interview is very much dark pools and payment for order flow. Because honestly, like, I mean, we could ask him questions endlessly. If there's a place where that, like, I guess fits in, but talking about synthetic shorts and, I mean, high frequency trading, he could talk about that for days and days and days. Like, that is like where his background was. Like, that wouldn't even be one conversation. That would be multiple conversations in itself. Please tell him my wife needs a boyfriend. Will do. Will do. Will do. Tesla above 700. Oh, Tesla's gapping up. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. That's crazy. He definitely knows about HFT. Oh, he's a legitimate expert on it. That was his background. Like, he is, that's what I'm saying, is like, he has so much knowledge. I mean, the guy could probably write a book on high frequency trading. I don't know if that that's why I'm saying, like, I don't know if I could just be like, oh, tell us about HFT. Like, that itself would be like multiple long form interviews. Because the point of this is to deep dive into dark pools and payment for order flow, because that's where a lot of questions are right now. All of a sudden, if in the community we see a spike in high frequency trading questions, well, we'll bring him on to talk about that. Like, my goal on this side of the camera is to, like, answer as many questions at large that I see, like where the majority of questions are. And I think right now there's a lot of confusion about dark pools, and there's a lot of confusion about payment for order flow. So that is the goal of this particular interview, is to make everyone feel very, very comfortable in their own knowledge base of what a dark pool and a payment for order flow is and isn't. Because there's a lot of assumptions running rampant right now, and a lot of like misinterpretations about what these things are and how they truly function. So the goal of this interview is to ask an expert, a legitimate expert, a verified expert of what these things are. So like, we can just stop the debate about these asinine things. Cause I mean, people are running absolutely crazy with their assumptions right now. Not a hedge fund. Shout out. Ask him if he's an ape. So we actually know, we have talked to Dave Lauer before. He's been following AMC and GME, and I believe correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm in the one interview, he said he does have GameStop. Like, I don't know if he's like all in on it, but he definitely owns some and has been following it, and he loves it. I think Matt hit the over for using at large today. Have I been saying at large a lot? Oh yeah, I definitely have been. Well, if we're already over, let's just keep running with it. All right, we have about what's that? 6 minutes to go till market opens. Tesla is running like a madman apparently in pre-market. Was there news on this? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Tesla ripping higher. How's Robinhood doing? Robinhood still below its IPO price. Still below. All right, let's drop to the 1 minute on everything. Da da da. Oh, one thing I also want to talk about before market opens is for whatever reason, I'm seeing that, I guess, comments that like content creators and stuff are like quitting. So I don't know specifically who this is in reference to, but I can speak for myself. And I guess at a certain point, I could also just relay what Trey and I have said to each other. I was talking with Trey over the weekend. Neither of us are quitting. I don't know where that is getting started. I think maybe people are misconstruing Trey's video when he said that he wants to add on other types of content outside of AMC. He never said that he's quitting talking about AMC though. So if you're hearing that of just people who are like, oh, why are you quitting? Right? No one's quitting. If anything, I mean, I've I changed my schedule, but that was just because of logistical issues and me trying to get like other types of like studying and information out there, and to also talk with some of the people in my Discord to answer some of their questions throughout the day. But no one is quitting. I don't know where people are getting that. I don't know why they're misconstruing it. It seems like there's a very small group of people within this community that are trying to rip the community apart. I mean, I heard through the grapevine that there was people on space calls saying that they're going to try to dox all of us, Trey, me, Rogue, TMI, Review Dork, of just like, they're going to try to dox all of us. What Trey said weeks ago of his biggest concern being that this group is infiltrated, unfortunately, that has become very, very accurate. The evidence, we have the proof of it, that we clearly are trying to be infiltrated. So, I mean, I don't know which forms of social media it's more prevalent on, but just be careful, especially if you're a newer ape and trying to figure out what's going on. Be very, very careful where you're getting your information, because there are an endless amount of fake accounts, just nameless, like it's just people hiding behind, like, just, they're not putting their name out there. It's a fake account, it's a fake picture, it's not real people. I personally see it more on Twitter. I'm told that it happens a lot on Reddit. So my recommendation at large is just be very, very, very careful where you're getting your information, who you're getting your information from. And I can't really speak for anyone but myself, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. I'm talking about AMC. I'm talking about GME. I know Trey isn't going anywhere. All he said was that he's adding on extra types of content to teach people more things, because that's what he likes to do, is educate people about the markets. So with it, also, if people do end up getting doxxed, if you see that, I would appreciate it if you just report it. Obviously, we don't want it to blow up in a sense where like everyone's commenting on it, because that means that more people are going to see the doxed information. So if you see any creator, not even in the AMC GME world, I'm saying at large on social media, it's the most pathetic form of cyberbullying. If you see it, don't make a big issue of it, report the account, and then just move on. That's the best way to handle it. Because if everyone's like commenting and saying something, well, then that blows it up. And then inherently there's more people seeing the doxed information that your creator that you like might not actually want out there. Remember, at the end of the day, all these creators that you do or don't follow, they're also just humans. And it's just, they're being attacked at large by people who are just like essentially just nobodies, who are doing what they can just to be like your classic internet troll. But overall, I mean, I don't know if it is or isn't. This is just what I've been hearing, that it's bad on Twitter, it's bad on Reddit. So just be careful you're getting your information. And when you're seeing something, especially if it seems like an extreme piece of FUD, just, I guess, verify it. Make sure that you're like, because right now it does seem like we're actively being infiltrated by random people, and I don't want that to be the downfall of this community. Can you ask if the design of dark pools are to use block trades anonymously? How come 10% or less of daily are dark trades while dark pool is 64%? Stonks Batman, that's a great question. We're definitely going to be diving into the way dark pools are pitched and how they're supposed to be theoretically used, and then how we're seeing the trends of them now. We're definitely going to be getting into that, and I could specifically get into your question there. And once again, that is, can you ask if the design of dark pools are to use block trades anonymously? How come 10% or less of daily is block trades while dark pools is 64%? If dark pools don't affect the price, why are so many trades going through them? I read dark pools are for large orders to not affect the market price. No, they do affect. You've never, the point of a dark pool, and once again, we're about to get into an interview later on today, but a dark pool is where you cannot see large buy walls and cannot see large sell walls. If people are buying and selling, of course it impacts the price. I myself have never come across anything legitimate that says trading on a dark pool does not impact the price of an equity. All right, ding, ding, ding. The casino is open, folks. Tried to dox Matt to find out his girlfriend was real. No proof found. Matt, can you explain how within 3 hours borrow shares went from 5.5 to 250 million on Stonko Tracker? No, I can't because I don't know much about Stonko Tracker. I know they're only using one data source, so because of that, I don't like using it. It's accurate in terms of sourcing data from interactive brokers, but that's like a very small sliver of the overall picture. So I don't use Stonko Tracker. I like it for the put stuff. I like it for the option chain to see the calls, the puts. It's good for SSR. But I don't use Stonko Tracker in terms of learning about the shorts or the short interest because it's only sourcing information from one prime broker, which is interactive brokers. But I really like it for the option stuff. Hey, Matt, any comment about the debt ceiling expiring? Yeah, I'm assuming they're just going to raise it the way they always do, but I don't think that's going to have some impact on AMC or GME, really. What happens to AMC if there is another lockdown? I don't think anyone can definitively tell you what would happen in that scenario. But a lockdown at large, would not be good for the stock market. We do see that it bounces back relatively quickly. If you look at March from last year, there was about a month of a sell-off, and then from there it based, and then just it's ripping until all the way to today. So there was about a month of a sell-off, and it was an extreme sell-off. It wasn't like the most horrific thing that the stock market has seen, but there was definitely a notable sell-off for the first month. So if that happens, maybe that's the way you could play it, I suppose. But its overall impact on AMC, well, that's not. It's weird. Fundamentally, for the company, that would obviously not be good. But we also all know that AMC is trading outside of the world of fundamentals. So I feel like it's very difficult to predict that. Oh, coming back to Nismo, why are so many trades going through dark pools? Because people are trying to hide their buy orders and hide their sell orders. They don't want people to know that they're buying and selling. It's inherently a more competitive environment where your information isn't being shown as you're trying to execute a trade. All right. Robinhood, green on the day, surprising enough. All right, AMC bouncing off of 37.17. Looks like it's making a run to 38. Tesla with a sizable gap up of $20. Wow, holding above 700, looking strong. I have not really checked in on Tesla in quite a while. I don't know why it's gapping up so much. I'm assuming there was some sort of news or announcement or something like that. Someone just said IEX routing avoids dark pools. There's many things that avoid dark pools. Routing in general, you could just choose to not route to a dark pool. I sold a call option covered and the value of the option has risen quite a bit. Is there a way to make a profit out of this? The value of the option. I mean, you are just looking for it to get to the expiration date below your strike price. Brambles, that's what you're looking for. If it expires above, you're gonna lose your stock that you have, but you'll still get the profit of the stock all the way up to that price. So it kind of depends really on your expiration date, the stock, your position, and all that. But inherently, you're just looking for it to expire below your strike price at the date of expiration. Hey, Matt, actually, I'm using Webull. I need to use another broker. Can you mention one for me, please? So a lot of people, it seems like there's two main ones that people are really gravitating towards right now. Fidelity. If you're on Fidelity, you can use Active Trader Pro, which allows you to route your orders. It is free trading on Fidelity. But you have to make sure to actually route your orders, because if you're not routing them, they still are mainly going to Citadel, in the sense if you're not actively going out of your way to route them yourself. So that's very important with Fidelity, is make sure you're routing the orders to not Fidelity. If you're on Fidelity, make sure you're routing it to not Citadel. Because even Fidelity does not do payment for order flow, but without you intentionally routing it, it is still their main route is Citadel. Citadel. Now I'm just shoving all the words together. So Fidelity, popular one, Active Trader Pro, route it away from Citadel. Another one that I see more of right now that does not use payment for order flow is Public. Public, they have it on their website, no longer using payment for order flow. And then they even have new commentary about their routing, and they're routing it to lit exchanges. You can see that on Public's website. As of now, unfortunately, I don't have like an extra bonus like sign up for you on Fidelity or on Public. With you, I mean, maybe you have a friend that could give you a referral link and you both get a kickback or something like that. But I know Fidelity, no payment for order flow. Public, no payment for order flow, if that's what you're attempting to avoid. Can you check out SPRT? I grabbed a few hundred shares. I just wanted to know your opinion on it. Check the Ortex data, please, sir. Have not touched my AMC. So I know SPRT, as of last week, did have a considerable short interest. Is that still holding up? I believe SPRT is support.com. Let me check this out. The short interest on SPRT is 63.48%. For me, it feels like a chasing play. I very much don't want to chase it, so I'm not going to be trading that myself, but it does have a high short interest. But just so you know, a high short interest does not mean that it has to squeeze. AMC looking strong. The current intraday high is 38.10, and we're trading just south of 38 at the moment. Looks like it's about to make a new intraday high. I am surprised that Robinhood is green on the day. I truly, truly am. GME not holding right now. It's at 160. We very much want GME to hold. It seems like obviously on an intraday basis, these two stocks are deviating from each other. AMC is up 2.4%, and then GME is down 0.35%. Matt, excited for today. Been an ape since June. Gamma squeeze and absolutely love this community and movement. Bought even more AMC today. Shout out Mikey. Shout out Brambles. Do we have any question? Gear be jammin'. Shout out. All right. How is the overall market looking today? IWM is up and SPY also up. The overall market, the two main indices that at least we speak about here are in the green, green, green. Right. What else do we have going on? Any big breaking news now that we're about 10 minutes into the day? Remember, I really, really like to sit on my hands for the first 15, 20 minutes, something like that. I just find that there's so much, especially on Mondays, there's so much whipsawing and volatility right out of the gate that I find it to be way, way exponentially easier to just kind of sit and be calm, see how things are really shaking out. All right, Hood looks like it came in at 36.64. Now it's showing some weakness. Tesla is still going strong. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. What do we have? All right, AMC a little flat. We double topped at 38 right now. Let's see if it can keep this relative low at 37.62. In terms of AMC, there's been a net return thus far of 500,000, short interest of 15%. GME, a borrow of almost 500,000, short interest of 14.73%. All right, let's see how we are doing, folks. Hood getting sold. Hood is getting sold. Come on, AMC. Where are we at today? GME, it did find support at 160 for my audio listeners. Right now it's at 161.27. So that is a big bounce if you're looking at the daily chart. So it's good for it to hold that value. Let's hope that it can just like start bouncing and ripping off of it. Let's go over, hang on just for a quick second. Let's see what IWM is doing, and let's see what the S&P 500 is doing. All right, IWM is trucking higher, while S&P 500, it's green on the day, but it's intraday action, up, down, and now kind of just like perfectly in the middle. So not much of a direction. So IWM is pushing. That should bode well for AMC. So I like that this is going higher and higher and higher. Should make us feel some sort of way. All right, what other questions do we have rolling in, folks? I find it odd that FTD's info wasn't released. I believe it should come out at the end of the day on trading on Friday, and also believe that this report is never late. There is, I think it's already announced, of like, the date beforehand of like when it's going to come out. If it's not out, I don't think it was like supposed to come out on Friday, and then all of a sudden they somehow like skipped it. I believe that it was probably just supposed to come out like today or something, but the dates are already like pre-announced. Like we know, if you do a quick Google search, moonshots, it should be out there somewhere of like the date we're going to get all that info. How can they borrow 500K with only 125K on volume? Because borrowing has nothing to do with volume whatsoever. Volume is the amount of shares traded that day. Borrowing is someone borrowing shares from a prime broker. Borrowing shares has like no correlation whatsoever with the day's trading volume. Hey Matt, have you been following Nikola at all? I'd love to get your opinion. I know about Nikola just because I was paying attention to the Trevor Milton story, but I would not ever invest in it. To me, it's very, very toxic. For those of you who don't know about Nikola, it's an EV play. Their ex-CEO, a guy named Trevor Milton, basically just a straight up liar. That's what all the allegations, I believe there's even lawsuits against him right now for that stuff. So I would just not touch that company just because you never know when something might come out that like completely drops the stock. So I am not touching that one. Obviously, for the people that work there and the current leadership team, I want it to be successful, but I think that particular play just has a bit too much garbage, too much, I guess, baggage attached to it, but a lot of garbage comes out about it. So for me, that's a pass. That is a pass. All right. Well, AMC, it's pushing this trend line. That's the third test, still right below 38 at this trend. But IWM is looking good, which makes me feel, ooh, there we go. There we go on AMC. We got that push, folks. We got the push. We're about to make a new intraday high. The current intraday high is 38.10. And, well, AMC just broke it. Boom goes the dynamite, folks. Boom goes the dynamite. The dynamite. The dynamite. There we go. Come on. I want to see. Obviously, we just know it's incredibly important to get to this level at $40. Would love to see that breakout. It's one thing to test it. Obviously, 40 is better than 39, but it's a completely different thing to like test it, break above it, hold it, all that good stuff, especially on considerable volume. So let's see what we can kind of do here, what kind of momentum we can build up. I just want to know the high from first stop. Hang on, I'm just trying to mark out the previous highs for us because they could serve as resistance. So we're watching 39.18 and then 39.56. Obviously, this is not one of those deals that it's like to a cent. It's just kind of roughly in that region. So I think we could have some clear sailing up to 39.18 right now, especially if IWM keeps pushing in this manner. Especially if IWM keeps pushing in this manner. But we are showing some strength. Right now, AMC is up 3.1% on the day. GME even went green. It bounced off of 160, and we're currently trading at 163.20, which is a gain of 1%. So we're seeing some green. We are seeing some green, green, green. Why is Tesla gapping up? Tesla news. News. 1 day ago, they redesigned their app. Elon Musk denies he discussed an Apple-Tesla merger. That was 2 days ago. I'm not seeing any like major breaking news that would be a $23 run up. Big sales in China. Okay, thank you, Fitzy. Is Hood being shorted? Stock killer. I don't have that information quite yet on Ortex. It looks like they haven't loaded since it's such a new stock, Hood. It looks like they haven't loaded that information into it. I could double check for you though. Yeah, I have no information on the short interest. I mean, Robinhood has only traded for one full day. It's been trading now for 1.5 days. Like today is, it's just very, very new of a company. So I am personally waiting on that one. To see what's going on. IWM still pushing, AMC looking good, GME looking good. Honestly, everything on the screen right now is looking pretty good. What is going on? Like, I don't know if anyone else is having issues. I'm just trying to see some of my positions and they are not loading. Hang on, let me kill my app and see what's going on. I like to check out my AMC position way better on these kind of days. Makes me way more happy. Man, we are looking all sorts of green, folks. All sorts of green. All right. GME still grinding upward, making that run to 164 thus far. AMC is gearing up for that next move. The explosion, the consolidation, the prices being accepted, and you can almost feel it like still kind of pushing slowly but surely. I'm hoping on this next push that we get a nice little rally formed all the way up to 39. That would be pretty awesome. IWM still hanging out at 224.50. At this point, I'm assuming it's being attracted to that key psychological level at 225. So let's see how this is all going to end up panning out. Tesla, prove you are an ape. I mean, I think obviously everything I've done for the ape community shows I'm an ape. That's kind of a weird question. Tesla, prove that you're an ape. I don't know. Like, what have you done for the community? Kind of a weird question. Prove I am an ape. I don't know, but have you like seen my YouTube channel? Like, if you look at my catalog, I think it's a little bit obvious that I'm what people would refer to as an ape. PB, please be careful. 10 years pushing downward now at 121. Yeah, it is useful to watch to see what's going on with the yields, but also just understand that's going to be more of a noteworthy impact at like these indices that we're paying attention to: Russell 2000, Nasdaq 100, S&P 500. So I like to pay attention to them to know what an individual index might do. But in terms of the yield and AMC and GME, I don't know if there's going to be the strongest correlation. Prove you are a fitness instructor with an amazing duck fashion sense. Shout out, Ben. Prove you're an ape Rick of Spade style, or maybe you just don't know what you're talking about. What's going on? Totally real 10K. People are weird, man, on the internet. Blows my mind. We're happy to have you in our ringside shout out. What was that book recommendation for options trading again? I thought I saved it. Let me see if I could find it. Options trading. Let me see if I can find it in my own history. Options trading. I might need to find that in the mid session for you to get that book. There are many, many good books on options trading, but just for the one that I've like personally been through, I might need to find that offline. How does an IPO calculate its opening price? That's what the underwriters and the agents are all about doing. They figure out the value of the company. They know how many shares they're selling. And then from there, when they offering it, of course, there's like a very quick change because the market, maybe even just the market's enthusiasm might not match. But overall, like, I mean, that's a whole job, is to calculate the value of a company. That's what all these fundamental analysts do. They're always trying to derive the true value of the company and seeing if there's a mismatch in the price. But anyway, they'll look at the company, kind of come up what its market cap should be. They know how many shares they have, and then that's where they're going to come up with the IPO price. Scott C. Looks like he's crushing Nicola. What if hedge funds start paying off YouTube personalities to change their positions and influence others? Thoughts? I think it's a ludicrous idea. I'm assuming if they were going to pay people, it would start with Trey and myself. I have not been approached or offered any money by a hedge fund to stop. I would not accept it if I were. And I believe Trey is in the exact same boat from the times we've discussed it. But this is just I feel like the group is getting very, very conspiratorial. Like even that, Chris Webber. This is now like the third day in a row someone has asked me about YouTube personalities getting paid off. And I'm not saying you shouldn't ask the question, but like I think it shows how conspiratorial this community is. And I mean, I don't know. The people out there who are going to trust me, they're going to be like, oh, okay, like I believe him because he just said it and I trust Matt and he wasn't paid off. And I'm telling you, I wasn't paid off. I wasn't even approached by a hedge fund to do that or any, like no one's like, hey, I'm going to give you this lump sum of money to stop talking about AMC or even worse, to start talking bad about it. No one's ever done that in my own experience. And then the people who dislike me, they're just going to be like, oh, he's lying. Like I'm not going to be able to change anyone's mind on it. If you trust me, you trust me. If you don't, you don't. But I'm being completely honest when I'm saying no one has offered me money. And also, if they did, in the world that they did, I'm doing a pretty bad job about it because I'm still clearly bullish and apish on AMC. I'm still long on AMC in my own portfolio. I have thousands of shares of AMC. I'm still long on GME. So if they did do it, I mean, they should get their money back because I'm doing a piss poor job at being negative on AMC when I'm still posting content throughout the week. I live stream it for hours a day. I do interviews trying to get more people interested in AMC. So if in a scenario that I were paid off, I mean, that I would be the worst payoff ever. With a good earnings report this week, do you think fundamental players will start stepping in? Ruma, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Because if you're talking about AMC, the earnings announcement is not this week. What if not a hedge fund paid you to buy more? What's going on? Hey Mark, missed you. I have $4.822 MMAT calls. Learning August is usually slow. Should I roll them to September when MMAT is red? I bought 43. Big shop. Yeah, August is slow, but that doesn't mean it's slow for every individual stock. If you think MMAT is specifically going to be slow, then you might want to roll. But I have not really been following MMAT, so I don't know if I could give the best, like, I guess, commentary on it. What happens if all the shorts run out of money while the price continues to rise? Where will all the money come from? They're not going to run out of money because remember, the brokers see how much money they have with them, and if it gets to a point of risk, they're going to get margin called. Their broker does not want to carry the risk of their client blowing up because then the broker will be financially responsible for covering the position, and they obviously don't want to do that. So they would get margin called before the account hits zero. Sorry, wasn't saying you, but I totally trust you, but I don't put anything past these evil hedge funds. I love your rants. Chris, it's all good. Like, I'm just trying to, like, I didn't think you were attacking me. I'm just trying to show, like, that the group is getting, like, very, very conspiratorial, and it's a fine line because I think sometimes we need that to uncover some truth, but the amount of things that are said about me, Trey, and other creators, it's just absurd. People are just throwing out some random things. I see it on Twitter. I see it on Reddit. People put things out there with no sources, nothing. They just put out a comment. And then it's weird to see that other people are just like blindly agreeing with them. We need to get back to the basics where people are uncovering, I guess, truth or seeking to test a theory with sources and with evidence. And we're just not really seeing that much of it right now. We see it's become a world of echo chamber. It almost has like a cancel culture like vibe where people are like, well, no. Like if you don't say something that like completely agrees with everything I like believe to be true, well, then you must be wrong. You must be a shill. You must be paid off by some sort of hedge fund. And it's just even on the most small, like asinine things. And I don't think it could be healthy for our community. We need to be as realistic as possible. We can't be overly optimistic. And of course, we don't want to be pessimistic. We want to be as truthful about the situation as we can possibly be. And Even if yourself, like ask yourself, do you think you're in some form of an echo chamber? That goes both ways. Are you in an echo chamber of loving AMC and Jimmy, or are you in an echo chamber of hating it? It cuts both ways. And with that, you just need to be on the page of realism. If you can't list the pros and cons of your own position, you just haven't done enough research, because nothing out there is a perfect play and nothing out there is a 100% horrific play. There are pros and cons to anything you engage in the market. And if you think everything is all like perfect, or if you think anything is all awful, I just don't think you've really done like the in-depth research you have to do, because nothing is 100% and nothing is 0% within the stock market. We live in the world of the gray area in the stock market. Screw those people who think that. Can you explain how a dividend works? For instance, I'm looking at MMP. Yeah, so if you own the stock on the date of record, you just get the dividend, and you get it a little bit later, but basically per share you get like a certain amount of money, usually like a couple cents per share that you own, depending on what's going on with it. Obviously, the more expensive a stock, typically you get a higher dividend payout, and then that money, and then you might have, depending on your brokerage, you might have DRIP, dividend reinvestment plan, where basically the money you get from the dividend, it just buys you stock, that extra stock, but not everyone has DRIP. So if you're a dividend trader, investor, that might be something you want to look into. Once again, that's called DRIP. I do have some dividend stocks. I'm not the biggest dividend trader investor, but some of I really, really like Microsoft. Disney used to be a phenomenal dividend. And then because of the pandemic and everything, they took the dividend away. Companies can give dividends. They can do it quarterly. They could do special dividends. They can have them. They can get rid of them. It's all up to the company. So Disney used to have it and then they got rid of it. So I'm looking for Disney to reinstitute it, but for other reasons, I think Disney just kind of like with the bounce back of its parks, is a good play, but right now it does not have a dividend. So those were the two main dividend stocks I had just in my long-term portfolio, were Microsoft and Disney. But like I said, if you want to know more about dividend and dividend investing, I would recommend that you check out some of Andre Jick's videos. He has a lot of great dividend videos where you can learn more about it. Usual whales versus Tiblio for options thoughts. They tell you two different things. Unusual whales is going to tell you kind of the flow. That's what unusual whales is all about, the big money flow. While Tiblio is a little bit more specific, it'll tell you, well, first of all, it has like the credit spreads, it has the naked puts. And then other than that, when it's looking at big numbers flowing into a stock, I'm referring to Tiblio, it also looks for fundamental drivers. So they're not really that comparable. If anything, you would probably want to use something like unusual whales and Tiblio together, not necessarily like one or the other. Might be a conspiracy theory here, but I heard sometimes microwave tinfoil hat. Is that true? 8-Man Dan can confirm that is a conspiracy. Oh, hey, Malachi, Neo thoughts, not financial advice. Well, we see that Tesla's ripping. Does that mean that Neo is also ripping? Neo is so EV is just having a phenomenal day. But this kind of makes sense because what Fitzy was saying was that the numbers from China are looking good. So it looks like any EV company that has exposure to the massive market that is China is having a very good day. Tesla ripping. Tesla is ripping, ripping, ripping. GME currently just below 163, and then AMC is at 38.18. We double topped at 38, just below 38.50, 38.46, 45, somewhere around there. But Tesla is running like a stock possessed to 722. For those of you who might be in Tesla, and I just want to be completely honest about this, I am long on Tesla myself. I like how it got above 216 right here. I need some more time frames to know where this might get rejected. Wow. 750. Is that really the next stop? If it can hold 716, 716 is a sizable breakout, like a noteworthy breakout. I don't know. Wow, that's a good run. I guess I'm coming off as maybe overly optimistic, but I think the next stop might be the mid 740s, potentially even 750, which could leave another 20, 25, $30 in the tank for Tesla. I'm not saying that has to happen today, or I mean, it could happen today for all I know, but I'm looking at the next major resistance. All right, let's drop to the 3 minutes just so we can see a little bit more realistically what's going on right now. All right. AMC just above 38, GME 162. Tesla is ripping like a stock possessed. What else do we have? I think a lot of the issues people are expecting to get rich quick and are getting impatient. This is a waiting game. Yeah, a lot of people come to the stock market thinking it's a get rich quick scheme, and it really isn't. You're going to end up dedicating hours, days, weeks, months, years of your life to become proficient at trading and make a decent amount of money off of it, especially if you have the concept of like trying to make it your profession or something along those lines. But if you came to the stock market, specifically AMC and GME, to think that it's some magic way to get rich quick, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but this is there's the stock market is not a get rich quick scheme. It's like any other thing in your life of where things that are worth it, usually it takes time, it takes dedication, it takes hours of practice, hours of research, a lot of trial and error. It's not the stock market it requires a very complex, unique skill set. And that's not something you could just develop very quickly. Do some people hit it big and then like just leave? Well, yeah, but the same can be said about a casino. At a casino, you might not know poker at all, but if you go all in on one hand and everyone calls you and you don't know what you're doing, well, yeah, there's still a chance that you could win. And if everyone else calls you and you win all their money, well, right there, you might have an amazing return. And if you're smart enough to leave the table and get out of there, yeah, okay, that is a potential outcome. And it's a potential outcome, not a likely outcome. And I guess you could see that in the stock market. You could take someone that doesn't know anything about stocks. They could go all in on a penny stock. It could rip the next day. They could become a multimillionaire and then they're done. Does that happen? Yes. Does it happen to any noteworthy statistical degree? Absolutely not. That is a massive, massive rarity. So if you're one of those people that hit it huge, seriously, congratulations. I guess you hit your lucky stars. Like they all align for you. But it's a huge rarity. And I don't want you sitting there that like thinking you should be able to invest and make 100%, 1,000%, 10,000% overnight or within a week. It's just, that is not what the stock market is. I thought this was a casino. It is a casino. It's just a different game at the casino, almost like poker, where it takes time. Like you're always looking for superior risk to reward setups, and you're always trying to capitalize on them. And then there is on top of that also an aspect of luck. I think poker is very, very comparable to the stock market. You're playing against a different opponent, not necessarily the house. The metaphor is not perfect. But it's always about weighing out your risk to reward. If you are a poker player, and you're just learning about trading, you're going to find that there is an immense amount of correlations between the two. GE stock, it was a reverse split. It was an 8-for-1 reverse split. So for every 8 stocks of GE that people previously owned, they now only own 1, but the value is 8x. It's not like the stock actually gapped up or gapped down. A reverse split and a split do not fundamentally change a company. They just change the amount of stock out there, but the market cap remains the same. Yes, it can have some psychological implications, but since the rise of fractional share trading, the impact of a split and a reverse split has been muted even more. What is the 1 minute, 3 minute, etc. time frame for red? Oh, it's just 1 minute bar. So like every 3 minutes that pass, we get a new bar. Or you could do it every 1 minute. You could do it every 15 minutes, 1 hour, a day, a week. It's pushing together your various time frames. Matt, why did GME not announce NFT on the 14th of July as expected? It was expected by a lot of content creators, but they never ever confirmed that. That was another aspect or another instance within this community where people were setting up expectations that were not confirmed by the actual company. The amount of content creators out there that were like, oh, July 14th is it. Like GME is going to rip on that day because of this NFT thing. It just did not end up coming through. And if you look into it, the company never really said that. That was another thing driven by social media without people really doing their DD on it. Hey, just got my average down to 43.18. Hi, Max. What's going on, Matt? Shout out. Why haven't FTD's report been released? Any insight or speculation? I don't really know. I thought it was going to be out, but I'm just going to kind of wait for later today because remember, it might be out, but it might take a day for Ortex to process it or something like that. I'm really not sure. But I think we'll be getting the numbers very soon. I'll look into that in the midday session to understand like the date that they're supposed to come out, just so I can. Someone just said it's been released, so maybe Ortex just hasn't processed it yet, or has Ortex now processed it? Let me just double check for everyone. I thought it was going to be out already, personally. All right. So if it is out, it's just not in Ortex. If it is already out, someone said it's on the SEC website. So it sounds like Ortex has just not like transferred the data from the SEC website to their own platform quite yet. So if it is on the SEC website, I would kind of assume that we're going to be seeing it today, because usually they're on that pretty quickly. Thank you for that clarification. Duly noted. All right. People are asking about DGLY. Super low volume. It's an awful trend. I just wouldn't trade it. It's trending downward, very low interest stock, as in it's just not being traded much. Not my play. FUV. On the other hand, FUV looks like it's about to break out. If you already have a position, congratulations. But do not chase it because there is a chance that it just gets rejected at this level. Of course, it might break and run, but I don't want to get in right now when I would have to risk $1.50 or realistically risk all the way down to $13.70, which would be $4 when it could just get rejected within 70 cents. So I wouldn't chase this, but if you got in recently on this run up or even earlier, congratulations. It's looking strong, but this is, like I said, back to that poker reference, this is not the risk reward scenario setup you want to take. This is not like when you lay into the bet. People are asking about MVIS, a LiDAR company that I'm a fan of. Stock not looking the best though. It might be forming a nice base around, I don't know, 13 to 15, somewhere in here. We've seen it base here before, so I would look for it to come back around and show some strength and break above 15 and hold above that. Hey Matt, happy Monday. Love your live YouTube streams. Do you know what happened to XPO Logistics? It looks like some sort of stock split. Could have very well been a stock split. I'll just do what you would have to do. XPO stock split. June 29th. Hang on. April. XPO. Oh, no, no, no. It wasn't a stock split. It was no, it was a merge. A merger between XPO Logistics completed the GXO spin. Here's what happens now. XPO Logistics has completed its spinoff of GXO. Both stocks are now trading separately. So it was almost a reverse merger. They split off into two different companies. So that's what's going on. It wasn't a split. It was part of the company got spun off as its own entity. Tesla ripping in sympathy with good news on Xpeng. I don't know about that because Tesla's the dominant company. How much is Xpeng running? It would have to be XPEV. No, 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 no. I mean, XPEV is up 7.5%, and it's a market cap of, let's call it 31 billion. Tesla is up almost that same amount. It's up 5%, and it's a $715 billion company. It seems like anything that has connection to the Chinese EV market is doing very well today. I don't think it's a sympathy play. NIO's doing well. It seems, I mean, there's a whole host of EV companies that have exposure to the China market, and it obviously the numbers are coming in very, very strong. So all those companies are doing well. It seems like they're just we're seeing really good reports out of China with their numbers, and right now we know Tesla has exposure to it, NIO has exposure to it, XPEV, like I mean the list goes on and on and on. So it's going to help. Like, it is a sympathy play, but not necessarily to XPEV. It's a sympathy play to the Chinese EV market. So anything that has exposure to it, like rising tides raise all ships type of a situation. Someone said, can I look at XELA? XELA. Looking good. I'm not in this play at all, but if you can get this breakout above $3, specifically above 309, this might keep moving. You could watch $4 after that. How is ARK doing? This is an ETF that has exposure to EV. It is up, what are we up today? Almost 1%. ARKQ, ARKQ, looks like it might be trying to break out of 82. And if so, I would then be watching 84. And then after that, 87. ARKQ had a great run up, and since then, it's just been trading sideways. AMC at 37.67. GME went back from, it was red on the day, then green on the day. Now it's red again. It's down 1%, trading just below 160. ARKQ. Let's go back to IWM. Whoa, IWM getting hit. Getting hit, getting hit. Tesla still holding very, very, very strong. Impressively strong, in fact. All right, what other, do we have any other breaking news right now? All right, Tesla showing some strength. What other questions do we have? All right, we went over XPO. Yeah, XPO, the split off with the company, apparently. AMC, hopefully making this base and just turning around. IWM, it feels like IWM is dragging this back down. IWM had a nice run up to 224.50. I thought 225 would be a nice psychological magnet. But then we put in a lower high, and then it cracked the previous relative low at 223.25. And since then, it's been selling. And just look at the correlation between these charts. They ran up in the morning. They both made a lower high around, what, 10? And then they've been selling off. Lots of correlation between AMC and the Russell 2000. GME is kind of doing its own thing. It's down 0.8%, trading at 159.80, and then Tesla is just ripping higher. Someone said FTDs are up. I don't know about that. Let me reload the page. Let's see. Not in Ortex. It sounds like they're on the SEC's website. Some people were saying. But I'd have to double check that. How will the debt ceiling situation help AMC to rise? I don't think it will. I don't think that the government debt ceiling will really have an impact on AMC. Newegg. I saw it run before, and then my thoughts were that it would just sell off in general, and that's exactly what it's been doing. I would not trade Newegg. The point to get into it was probably in early July in here to bet against it. And now it's just, I don't even know how I would play it. It's a non-play for me. I don't like the risk reward in either direction. Steven, I mean, you can't really tell other people to do with their trades. The amount of money people have made on other stocks and then put into AMC, that has directly benefited you. For people who get on their high horse saying you can't watch another stock or something, I mean, AMC goes higher when more people buy. Holding a stock alone does not raise its price. You need more people buying than there are selling. It's the new traders that change the price of a stock, not the current holders. And that goes for both ways. If you're long or short, just holding your position does not influence the stock price. So when people are on their high horse about talking about something with AMC, I find it very weird for two reasons. The first reason is you can't, well, I guess I find it weird for three reasons. You are not the person to tell anyone else what to do with their money. You can't do it. That is not yours. Like, they're taking care of their own financial situation. You should take care of your financial situation. It's people have been telling this saying to me, and it's like kind of the first time I heard it, but I liked it, was it's really weird to look into another man's pockets. Like, you don't tell them what to do. It's their money. Beyond the fact that it's not your money and it's their own decisions, you should want them to be successful in other trades, especially if they're bringing that money back to AMC, because the more money Ape Nation puts into AMC, the better off the stock will do. So really, your opinion is actually hurting your own position. You want more people to buy it. And one way to do it is to make money on other trades. And what I find very weird about it is GME, GameStop, was the OG that did all of this. Like, I would actually argue that AMC was the first distraction. And right now, people have accepted AMC and GME, and the community is supporting both. But don't get anything confused here. GameStop was the OG. Roaring Kitty and GameStop were the people that started this entire thing. So now to say that you're in AMC and other people, like, you don't like that other people are trading other things, that's what all the GameStop people think about the original AMC, because they're like, well, why wouldn't you just buy GameStop? We could push GameStop higher. So I would be very, very careful, because people are just arguing like what benefits them personally, and I don't know if there's like much of a like logical reasoning behind it when it just like comes off as a bit selfish. Please check out ON. Beat earnings today, but curious on your long-term outlook. Got this a month ago. Traz, so I could look at ON, but when you're asking about long-term, I would want to know about the company's like fundamentals and like what it's actually doing or what it's not doing. I know it's a semiconductor company, so I like that. And it beat earnings, and it's up 15%. And it looks like it's just breaking out, so the momentum's behind you. With the minimal I know about it, I'd want to be bullish on it. I mean, it's breaking out. It made a new high, at least on whatever time frame I have here. So it seems like things are on the up and up. But if you don't have a position, you don't want to be. In my own trading philosophy, I am not creating a position when a stock just hit a new all-time high. That is the definition of chasing a runner, and you don't want to chase. That is a great methodology to lose. This stock looks great. It's gapping up, probably beat on earnings. It's in a good industry. It's in a good sector. So there's a lot of things going for it. But for me, I have no position in ON on semiconductor. So if I wanted it, I would wait for a bit of weakness and then try to get in there. CRSR. Isn't this a gaming? Yeah, I like esports. Stock looks bad though, but it looks like it might have finally bounced. So this is potentially more of a realistic risk to reward setup. I mean, you have support at 28.70, $1 away, and you might get a break up to 32, past that, 34. So if you did it, just keep your risk. Whenever you set up a trade, you should know what your risk is and you should know what your exit strategy is. Are you in it for a certain amount of time? Are you waiting for earnings, trend following? Do you have a profit target? Overall, for me, if I had to play CRSR right now, which I don't believe I have any of it, it might be in my retirement account, but if I do, it's minimal. If I got CRSR right now, here's how I would personally play it. And I'm not saying this is how everyone should play it. I'm just letting you know how I would play it. I would risk 28 and I would look for the breakout above 31. Above 31, I would then pay attention to 32. So I would sell a little bit at 31, a little bit at 32, and then maybe I would leave some on just for a runner. And my entire time, I would just be risking 28 or 28.40. My risk is defined and my reward is defined. Before you create the trade, you want to have a well-defined trade. Hey, Matt, if I become president someday, would you prefer Treasury Secretary or would you rather head up the SEC? Mikey, the day you become president, I'll just be your fashion advisor or like your chef or something, your fitness coach, your relationship advisor. I think that's where I would really fit in. Should I sell my AMC shares to average down? I bought a lot at 38.17. You selling your shares doesn't lower your average, so that's not averaging down. To average down, you would buy new shares below 38.17, and that would average you down. This is for Ape Father. I know he wants to have this. Shout out Commander Vlogs. Yeah, people were telling me that like that older guy was like basically clout chasing and using my name. And in all honesty, I didn't watch the video. I don't really care what he says or does or doesn't say. He's just a guy that's obviously bandwagoning this movement. He came out of nowhere like a couple of weeks ago. The cool thing about YouTube, and you can see when videos are uploaded, it doesn't take much research to see which people have been supporting this community from all the way back in January, February. It's very, very easy to see who's been in this battle for quite some time and the other people who are coming in recently and then using other creators' names to start drama and grow their own thing. Like, it's such a... People grow very quickly with drama, but for me, I've learned my lesson that there's just no reason to engage. I'm not going to respond to it. I'm not going to watch it. I just don't care. I have enough on my own plate to worry about. Matt, did you hear what happened to the baby? Whose baby? The baby. The baby? I'm not sure. Do you mean duh baby? As in like the artist? No. Did something happen? Always sing. Oh, no, the rapper. Duh baby. No, what happened with duh baby? He got canceled? Oh. Well, that's not good for one of my bits then. Just my luck. The fact that my lookalike is DaBaby and now he's canceled, does that mean that I'm also inherently canceled because we look so similar? Is that the issue? Oh. I mean, I'm sure he had to say something, right, to get canceled, or did something coming up from his. I don't know what happened with the baby. That means, is that inherently that's just like hurting me then? Someone said he got kicked out of Lala. Oh, Lollapalooza? What do you do to get kicked out of Lollapalooza? Wow. He became the toddler. I will be uploading a diss track on the Ape Father later today. Should be fun. Commander Vlogs. Interesting. Commander Vlogs. Well, if people want to listen to it, that's the name of the YouTube channel. We're getting into music diss tracks. People said that he had some form of a homophobic comment. I mean, obviously I don't know what happened, but if that is true, I mean, that's why? That's my question. Like, why? How can people be that oblivious? I did see. I didn't know that happened to DaBaby because I heard things about Matt Damon. Like that was blowing up on Twitter last night. That like Matt Damon had some weird comments that were within that same tasteless vein. It's just crazy. I don't know. I'm not the guy to give you some sort of crazy insight onto that type of stuff. We're here to talk stocks. Matt, XELA is the next DocuSign with their digital signature solutions with dry sign. That sounds awesome, and I hope they're successful with it. How's the stock looking? And we're looking at that breakout. So, I mean, DocuSign, it's a good company. I mean, DocuSign, DOCU is the ticker it trades under. Good company, cool things. It sounds like this might be a very viable competitor. The chart is looking strong. Seems like it's in a cool industry. I could definitely see a world in which it is working. The baby isn't actually the genius. All right, let me reload this. People said that the FTDs are out. I believe that they're out. It's just that they're not loaded into Ortex yet for whatever reason. Maybe Ortex takes a day to. Oh wait, they are out. They are out. Okay, the numbers are in on Ortex and very, very minimal. So whatever No. I call bullshit. This makes no sense to me. I call bullshit. All right. So why this doesn't make sense to me is, hang on. This is weird. So we know, let me just go back to July. Early July. Something doesn't make sense here. Okay, so something is clearly not adding up. Something is wrong. AMC is on the threshold list as of July 8th. To be on the threshold list as of July 8th, there means there's at least 2.5 million FTDs. Well, how? How is that possible? Something is weird. And maybe I'm missing something, but that doesn't add up to me. It is saying July 8th that there were 9,000. How can we live in a world where there's 9,000 being reported, but then right here we know that there's 2.5 million at minimum to be on the list? That doesn't make sense. Like I'm like showing you right now, it's on the threshold securities list on the 8th, the 7th. Let's let this load. The 6th, The 5th, it's on it all of these days. Apparently nothing's on the 5th. Oh, because the market was closed. So the 6th, 7th, and 8th is the issue. 6th, 7th, and 8th. AMC is on the list all those days. It's not on the list in the 9th. So regardless, if we look at the right here, the 6th, no, there's only 41,000. There should be at least 2.5 million. The 7th, no, there's 9,000. There should be at least 2.5 million. July 8th, 9,200. No, there should be at least 2.5 million. That's how you get on the threshold list. Is what is it? 0.5%? At least 0.5. The failed settlements must also be a size totaling of 10,000 shares or more, or at least 0.5% of the securities shares outstanding. So no matter how you slice this, 10,000 or 0.5%, no matter how you look into it, I'm showing you right here on one of these days, on July 8th, 9,200. That is below 0.5%, which is 2.5 million, and it's obviously below 10,000. So how in the world is it on the threshold list on July 8th? How? Someone needs to explain that to me. How could it be on the threshold list right here, July 8th, and then yet the FTDs for July 8th only be 9,200? That How? This is reported. Like, this is a regulate, like, at some point, someone was reporting to them that there was this many FTDs. That makes no sense. That does not make sense. The failed settlements must also be of a size of totaling 10,000 or more, or at least 0.5% of the security shares outstanding. Securities that meet this criteria are included on the list are known as threshold securities. So how was it on the list if there was that many failed settlements? Either someone is completely lying, or I am just completely misunderstanding what this actually is. It doesn't add up. Unless, I don't know, maybe one of you guys, I don't get it. 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 Not at all. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't get it. Not at all. I am very confused, and it looks like fraud. It looks, you know how it's possible? Fraud. um, how long does anyone, should we take an over under bet on how long it, we need a new Ortex already? No, this is the information reported to Ortex. Ortex is not the one making up these numbers, folks. Ortex is only reporting the data that's given to them, and apparently the SEC is reporting to them that there was only 9,000. Like, how is that possible? So I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't. What am I have to be missing something, right? Is there fraud going on? Yes. But like, don't they go out of their way to hide it a little bit more? The amount of people who have been, I'm confused. Who knows? Maybe I'm the crazy person. Anyway, what I wanted to joke about, how long do you think, what's the over under until someone else like just takes what I just pointed out and makes a video on it and acts as if it's their own realization? Do you think it's going to be like tonight or like within a couple hours that someone's like, look what I just saw, when in reality they were just listening to this stream and like, hang on, these thresholds, they don't add up. I think the over under, it's 10:45 my time, 10:40. I give it 4 hours. 5. Let's give it 5 hours because it is early in the morning. I give it 5 hours until some other person steals what we just realized as a group and like just takes it. And they're like, look what I realized. I think the over under is 5 hours. Let me know if anyone wants to like take that bet. Under 4? If you guys want to take the bet, let me know. Over, under, like let's just run with it. 15 minutes. Like, look what I found. Someone just said, don't worry, I'm working on it. We're having a good time. We're having a good time. Someone's working on that video right now, probably. I hope it does well for them. I hope they get the views that they're after. Under? All right, well, I'll at least tweet it out because I think it's fun. And who knows, maybe there's a good explanation. And without Can anyone explain how these things can all be possible without fraud? I am extremely confused about extremely confused about the new AMC FTD report. Can anyone explain how these things can all be possible without fraud? Let's get some pictures up there. Desktop. Screenshot. I'm a big screenshot guy. Can you do multiple? Does that allow you to? Oh, you can. Huh. I don't understand how it could all work. Let's get it out there. Let's stir it up. Because honestly, maybe someone has a better explanation of, no, hang on, like there is maybe a chance that we're just misunderstanding something. Obviously, that is a possibility. So let's go from there, and maybe someone else will say something about it, and we'll learn something. Someone asked, why do I care? I care because I want to know if it is fraud. I want to know the answer to it because it doesn't make sense to me that it doesn't make sense. We know right here. Why does this matter to me? What? Clutches pearls. The failed settlements must also be the size totaling 10,000 or more, or at least 0.5%. So either 10,000 or 2.5 million of the shares outstanding. We know AMC as of early July that's 500 million. It's more than 500 million. So let's call it 2.5 million. Here is proof that it was on the list as of July 8th. And then if you look at July 8th, right here, it's saying 9.2 thousand. So if it's reporting 9.2 thousand, how in the world is it on the New York Stock Exchange threshold security list. It doesn't add up. Like, one of them can't happen. Someone said, keep reading. Keep reading. Securities that meet these criteria are included on the list are known as threshold securities. Okay. I mean, we still, no matter what, the number should be at minimum above 10,000. That's what I don't get, because it's at 9,200. So like at minimum, because it could be various things. Like, I mean, it said, although some of these failures may be due to naked short selling, they may also be due to mundane reasons such as a technical anomalies or human error. So we're talking about human error of 2.5 million shares for 3 days in a row. That's a lot of human error, because we know it's July 6th, 7th, and 8th. So if it's a human error or a technical error, that's a lot of technical error for 3 days in a row. That's a lot of human error for 3 days in a row. Like, we're literally 41,000. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's just like the numbers just don't add up. FTDs hidden in Brazil, but then how did it get on the list? Obviously, they weren't hidden if it got onto the list. Like, somewhere it triggered this to go on the threshold securities list. So at one point they were reported, hence why it got on the threshold securities list. But now what was reported is no longer being reported. At some point it had to get reported to get put onto this list. This part, Matt, threshold securities only include issuers registered or required to file reports with the commission reporting companies. Wait, what does that have to, how does that change it? Hardcore 6. I'm doing my look what I found video right now. Ted, I hope you crush it. When I say a new Ortex, I mean a stronger watchdog for the retail trading community. It's not enough with self-reported information from hedgies. No information on Ortex comes from hedge funds. It comes from the SEC, from FINRA, and from prime brokers. It's getting no information from hedge funds. To me, Steven, to me, that's not a sign of fraud. To me, that is the fact that they're being treated the same. Just because something's being treated the same doesn't mean it's fraud. It means that people who are involved in both of them are treating them the same scenario. But just because the stock looks the same, I mean, AMC looks the same as IWM, that doesn't mean fraud. I mean, these two look very, very similar right now. And GME, not the same. Like, these two have a greater overlap that doesn't definitively prove fraud. It could be that there's fraud, but just because a stock looks similar, that's not indicative necessarily of fraud. I don't know. Like, just sometimes, like, I mean, right now, a bunch of EV stocks are running the same together. That doesn't make it fraud, even though their charts look the same. Tesla, NIO, and XPEV all look very, very similar today. And just because it has a similar stock, it doesn't mean fraud. It just means that they're being traded similarly. Just got back from a long vacation without internet. What in the gaggle happened the past 2 weeks? Glad you're still here. Honestly, the last week and a half, just the stock's just been grinding sideways in the mid to upper 30s. Really kind of a boring, I guess, week. Really, like, not too much. We know that the new AMC earnings call and announcement is going to be a week from today, on the 9th, Monday, August 9th. So the SEC puts them on the list and lies to Ortex. That's where I don't get. I mean, like, I don't know. At some point, it was reported to the New York Stock Exchange. It got onto the New York Stock Exchange threshold securities list. So it got there at 2.5 million. And now the FTD is being reported are much, much lower. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. It either someone misreported numbers, or these are the two options. Either someone misreported numbers, or we don't properly understand what the threshold security list is. Those are the two potential theories right now. Either we completely misunderstand threshold security list, or the numbers were misreported, whether accidentally or maliciously. I don't know. That's something for lawyers to figure out and not for me. But those are the two potential things right now. All right. 5 days in a row of not having 2.5 million shares to deliver on AMC came off the list. 26, 27, 28, 29. That's not how you come off the list, Lucas. You have to have 5 days in a row to go on the list. But as soon as you come off, like as soon as they bring the number below 2.5, you're taken off the list that day. You don't have off the list 5 days in a row to get removed from the threshold security list. I take that back. Give me an hour. I think Ortex's data hasn't updated correctly. I see multiple stocks with questionable FTDs. I don't know. Like it could be. Like to me, something right now does not. There's a blatant contradiction going on right now, in my opinion. And I don't know. I think we'll figure it out. Smiling Pitball said wrong, 5 on, 5 off. You have to go below that for 5 days in a row to be removed. Are we sure about that? They are published by various exchanges in accordance with SEC. Threshold list removal. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe that's the part of the puzzle that I'm not. What is this? So a security will be placed on the threshold list if it has a significant failed to deliver position for at least 5 business days. How does it get removed? I don't know. I mean, it might be the fact that it has to be below it for 5 days, then it's finally removed. But I am not seeing that. So if someone has that, I would like if you could just send it to me. I would love to share that with the group. Remove. How do you get off the threshold list? Maybe that's the issue here, is maybe that it takes a 5 day. That could be a potential explanation. But I was always under the assumption that as soon as you bring it below, you get taken off the list. But if someone has some sort of evidence to the contrary, please feel free to share it with me. The security stays on the threshold list for at least 5 consecutive days. Kilgore. What's the first word? INCE. Someone just said, look at my Twitter. Look at my Twitter. All right. Let's try to get some answers out there. I don't know if I should be looking at my post. Oh, okay. Someone right here. Reflect only failure to delivers. The security may remain on the threshold list longer than 13 days after broker, blah, blah, blah. New delivery failures resulting from long or short sales that cross the threshold keep the security on the list, or the delivered failures have been occurred prior to a securities appearance on the threshold list and may be grandfathered on the list. Hang on. What does that mean? As to stand it has to stay on the list for at least 5 days. Reflect only failures to deliver because 1, a security may remain on the threshold list longer than 13 days after broker dealers close out all delivery failures, since the security stays on the threshold list for 5 consecutive days. That is very strange wording, but I hear what you're saying. Okay, that makes sense. Since the security stays on the threshold list for 5 consecutive days. Okay, that kind of adds up. So once it's on it, it has to be fixed that way. Settlement date, symbol. So I guess from its last day that it's actually taken care of at that point, you still run 5 days since then. I feel like that's maybe what it is. Well, hang on. We could double check that. We could check. So it was on, well, this was technically a day below it, right? So July 2nd, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 would be the day that it's taken off. Okay, so that actually tracks. Right here, 2.2 million. So that's day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. So yeah, okay, that theory it's starting to add up there of how it's more of a misunderstanding on my part, obviously, of how you get taken off. So once you need 5 consecutive days below that 0.5% requirement, and according to these numbers that we're seeing, that is how. And that would add up because we know on July 9th, that would be day 5. And this updates after the market closes. This was day 5. So we had 5 consecutive business days, 5 consecutive trading days that it was below it. And hence it was removed. Okay, that does kind of explain it. Someone said in this, he has no DD. I mean, did you not see the pictures I posted? All right. Let me follow up. Hang on. Where was this? Reflect only failure to delivers. Reflect only failure to delivers. Hang on. Let me find that website. Okay, so it is right here. This is the explanation that currently makes a little bit of sense. That people are talking about. Reflect only failures to deliver because a security may remain on the threshold list longer than 13 days after broker dealers close out all delivery failures, since the security stays on the threshold list for 5 consecutive days. So it's right here. It stays. So if security lawyers 101, maybe we should just cross-validate this with another source, but it's saying that basically it could be on it for 5 days. So who I want to give props where props are due. The first person that said this was Moo Christian. Good stuff. Let's throw you a follow. Shout out to Moo Christian. I appreciate you sharing that. If you end up being wrong, you can blame me. I already took credit for your post. I mean, some like it was just like I said, the options are it was either misreporting or not fully understanding threshold securities. And it seems like I was not fully understanding threshold securities. I thought the first day you went under, you were taken off the list, but it sounds like you have to be under it for 5 consecutive days. So shout out to Moo Christian for posting that. Uh, all these people are getting, I don't know, it seems like people are ripping on it. This literally just happened live, folks. Like this is what like research and DD is like all about. Like you look into it and you realize the possible outcomes and you dive into it, and then someone showed it and we read it and confirmed it. And it adds up in the data that we're seeing. Check out your Twitter, Jim. I sent you a link with Kramer drunk on his show during the RH launch party. It's so funny. All right, I'll check that out. Kylo Ren. Matt, check out. All right, will do. All right. Well, that was fun. That's some live DD, folks. That's how you track this stuff down. Okay, I admit I was wrong on all that. All you said makes 100% sense. So there is no fraudulent link regarding the short interest reporting. Is there any chance that these numbers are being tampered with? I would say that there is chance that they're being tampered with, but we're just looking for of like the issue, the discrepancy with the threshold list, and not necessarily of like the fraud related to it. We're just trying to understand how it could come off of those lists when it was being reported. It almost seemed as if it was different at 2 different times, but according to this 5 consecutive day thing, that is not necessarily the case. Uh, bu- 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 I don't think there's a trend between a correlation between MMAT and AMC. All right, AMC bouncing off of 3670. We're at 3712 right now. GME bouncing off of 155 up to 157. Oh, geez. Okay, it is past 11. So here's the plan. Off air, I'm doing an interview with Dave Lauer, and then I'll be posting that later on today. And then I'll be streaming live with all of you from 2 to 4. Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's a plan. I will be back. Yeah, I will be back at 2. I'm going to be posting that interview. The interview is going to be all about dark pools and payment for order flow. So I think that's what's going to be going on. If anything changes from that, I'll just tweet it out there. But thank you for the support this morning. Thank you for doing a bit of live DD with me. I appreciate all the effort. And just remember, until I catch you this afternoon, from me and Chair, as always, best of luck in the markets.